So, okay, children, the next topic we need to start is energy transformation. So this is very simple, but you need to understand, and it is important also for your exams. So, keep your eyes, ears, and brain all open. Okay. So, energy can be transformed into various forms from one form to another. First example about it is a piece of iron is falling from a height on the floor. How the energy is transforming here? When the body is at a height, what type of energy it should have? When a body is at a height, we have already studied it has potential energy, and height, that means gravitational potential energy. Okay, but here they have written only potential energy. That is fine. Potential energy it is having. When you leave it, it starts falling. So when it is falling, it is in motion, but still at a height. Okay, while it is falling, its height from the earth will be decreasing, but it will be at certain height. So height means potential energy, and it is falling, that means it is moving, that means it is having kinetic energy. So while it is falling, it will have both the energies, potential energy as well as kinetic energy. But because the height is decreasing, the potential energy is converting itself into kinetic energy, right? And finally, when it hits the floor, height becomes zero, so no potential energy, and all the potential energy is converted into kinetic energy at the just the instant where it is about to hit. All the potential energy will be converted into kinetic energy, and as soon as it hits the ground, the kinetic energy will also become zero, and where will it go? It will be converted into light energy and sound energy, right? Because as soon as it will hit, its motion will be ceased, right? So when it stops, all the kinetic energy will be converted into heat energy and sound energy. Then the next one is running of a motor car. So see, when you are driving a car, what is happening? The most important thing is we need the petrol. Okay, so the chemical energy in the petrol is converted into heat energy. Now this heat energy is converted into kinetic energy with the help of the engine, right? And then this kinetic energy, some of it is again converted to chemical energy, and it is stored in the batteries, right? The battery which is connected in the car. Okay, so it is stored in the battery, and some of it will be converted into light energy because the headlights will be there, and sound energy that will be used, that we are using the horn, that sound energy we are again obtaining from it, right? So what is happening? The petrol is having chemical energy. The chemical energy is converted into heat energy. Heat energy is converted into kinetic energy by the engine. Then some part of the kinetic energy will be converted into light energy, some will be converted into sound energy, and some will be converted into chemical energy again to be stored in the battery, right? And then you have studied about hydroelectricity. You must have heard of it, that when this we have discussed also, I think, that when water uh, is rushing in high speed, then there are turbines, etc., which are rotated with the help of it. So what is happening there? The energy of the water, the kinetic energy of the water, is used to rotate the turbines, and that kinetic energy of those turbines is converted into kinetic energy. We'll just go through it once. See, in a hydroelectric power station, water is stored behind a dam constructed at a height. So it is stored in dam. So what is happening, we have studied there that when something is stationary, it is having potential energy, and because it is stored somewhere, the water is stored in a dam, because of the height it will be having potential energy, right? So when water is allowed to fall, the potential energy is converted into kinetic energy. This kinetic energy is used to turn the turbines, right? The kinetic energy of the turbine is converted into electrical energy, and that is a complicated process, so that you cannot learn how it is happening right now. But what is happening, the water is stored in a dam. Because of its height, it will be having potential energy. When it is allowed to fall, the potential energy is converted into kinetic energy. Now that kinetic energy will be used to move the turbines. Now when the turbines are moving, they got the kinetic energy. Now this kinetic energy will be used to produce electrical energy. So this kinetic energy is converted into electrical energy. Then you have this problem of a roller coaster. Okay, so what is happening here? In a roller coaster, there is so much of, sometimes rises to a great height, then it falls, then it rises up, then it falls. So this process keeps on. So initially, it requires the engine or the motor, whatever is pulling it, to rise up till the first hill. Right, there are a lot of hills and drops. So it requires energy to reach the first highest point, right? So when it reaches there, it gains a lot of potential energy because of the height. Then when it falls from there, the potential energy is converted into kinetic energy. Then when it comes to our lowest point, what happens? And it is again, the kinetic energy will be converted into potential energy, and this process will be carried on. You can see here, what is interesting is that the cars travel along the tracks almost entirely on their own without needing to be driven by an engine. That it is a matter of potential energy. Okay, they are only pulled up the first hill, and after that, it is a matter of potential energy changing into kinetic energy and vice versa. As they go up the first hill, they gain potential energy because of height. Okay, when they come down, the potential energy gets converted into kinetic energy. This kinetic energy is enough to push them up the next hill. As they climb up again, the kinetic energy gets converted into potential energy, and this process will be carried on until a brake is applied. Can you see here? See, this is the point where it is starting, right? This point. And when it's here, it needs some engine pull with the help of an engine. Then when it reaches here, what is happening? It is having a it is at a great height from the earth, so it will have a lot of potential energy in it. And when it is allowed to fall from here, what happens? The potential energy will keep on converting itself into kinetic energy. So during this fall, what is happening? The potential energy will be converting into kinetic energy. So potential energy will be decreasing and kinetic energy will be increasing. At the lowest point, what will happen? The kinetic energy will be maximum, and it will be so much that it won't stop here. The car won't stop here. Because of that kinetic energy, it will be pushed again to this height, right? This height. Can you see here? Then it will again reach to this height, and there again it is having great potential energy. It will again fall from there, and because of the kinetic energy it will be having, it will again rise up, and this process will keep on continue until some brake is applied. Okay, so even if the engine has stopped, the process will continue on itself, on its own, because of the conversion of this mechanical energy. Then you have the example of a simple pendulum. Okay, for this we need a diagram. They are telling you to see the figure 2.7. Okay, let me pause this video here, and the simple pendulum thing I'll explain you in another video.